modular smartphones should be the future of smartphones. And I say this because, well, where are we going to go with smartphones? As the current flagships stand, there isn't much improvement from year to year. I mean, just look at the current Samsung and Samsung Galaxies and the iPhones. If you look at the previous year's versions, there are some improvements, but are they really significant enough to make people want to buy the new phone rather than just buy the older phone if they can get it at a discounted price? I don't think so. In the early days of smartphone, each year there was huge improvements, either in terms of camera or battery or display or something. And because of that, people were more excited and felt like they needed the new phone because of that. But now, I think we are reaching a plateau. I mean, there's a ceiling to how much you can improve a smartphone in terms of the camera, the display, the battery. Now, the display, I feel like it's probably reached the peak. I mean, they haven't really been too focused on the display and incredibly improving it for a while because I think it's reaching its limit. I mean, 2K displays seems like the limit to how much brightness, how much resolution you need in a small phone. And the brightness, it seems to be that the flagships are now bright enough to use in heavy outdoor sunlight. So you don't need to improve the brightness over that. And the cameras have gotten really good. And sure, they could get better. They're not on the level of professional cameras or anything, but there is a limit to how much you can do in a smartphone because of the space availability. Unless some new revolutionary sensor tech comes out, I don't think that's gonna be possible because there's a physical limitation. So I think smartphone cameras are also reaching their peak. The most you can do now is really improve the software, but how much can you really improve that after a certain point if the hardware has this much limitation? So cameras are reaching their peak. The display has reached its peak. The only thing left is the battery. Now, the current flagships can last a little over a day with heavy use, but I think if a battery comes out that lasts for 3 days or something, I think that would be enough for the casual user so that they only have to charge it once a week or something. And for heavy users, that's more than enough. And after that, I don't think people are going to notice the difference that much, how much longer their phones are lasting. Unless they're on an island or something where there's no charging available. I think 2 or 3 days, three days is optimum. And there does seem to be some battery tech that's coming out that might be able to do it. But yeah, battery I guess could be improved, but that's the only thing I can really see. The performance of the phones, the flagships can run really high-end games, and you can do some serious video editing if you have the software for it. And honestly, what more do you need in terms of performance? That's the only stuff that used that much performance. And we're reaching a peak of how much performance we need from a smartphone because of the usability aspect. So the performance, the camera, and the displays are reaching its peak. And I guess we could make the speakers louder, but the speakers also have physical limitations, so I don't think that's gonna happen either. But other than that, there's nothing much left apart from the battery. Which is why I think we need modular smartphones now. It needs to become a trend because, I mean, if the smartphones become so good, why are people going to keep upgrading them even after 3 years? Because before, the differences were so significant, the people wouldn't upgrade year after year or maybe in a couple of years. But now there isn't much need to upgrade it. I mean, the one thing that people do have a problem with is the battery degradation, but they could just replace the battery and keep using it. It's a pain, but they can replace it. And smartphone companies need to make money, and they need sales every single year. And if they only have a phone that comes out sells once every few years, that's not going to be enough. So the best alternative is probably to give the separate parts that people actually want and make the phones modular. Because a lot of people have different things they want for their phones. Some people want raw power for gaming. Some people want the high quality camera. And some people want great battery. So make them separate. So the people who want to who want the upgrade but don't want to spend the money on a new phone because they don't really care about the other stuff. They can just buy the thing they want. I think that's mostly important about cameras because cameras is something that everyone wants. Everyone wants the newer, latest, best quality camera, but they don't willing to spend excessive amount of money on just for the camera the new phone offers. So just provide the camera separately. And some people might want the latest processor for gaming, but they don't want to buy the new phone just for that. So separate the processor. And sure, you can say it won't be optimized, but I think the people who are willing to buy these things will be willing to put up with it. They will be willing to put up the downsides if it means that they can get the thing they want for cheaper. And price is a big deal for everyone, especially in this day and age. And I guess smartphones, they could just bring out a newer version after every few years or so. And just every other year, just keep on bringing out newer processors or cameras and batteries and all that. And the biggest thing they should do in terms of modularity is bring back removable batteries. And that was something that already existed and they got rid of. And it's been a pain ever since. Because people have to worry about battery life, degradation. Each phone has battery settings because of it to limit the battery. And I do think they should bring back removable batteries because if they do that, people will really start using their phones even more. Because if they can just swap out the battery that easily, they won't be that worried about using the phone. And even they're going on trips where they don't have the ability to charge, they can just carry a spare battery. Simple as that. I mean, those days were really great, but I guess back then you didn't really need that much bad life from your phone. The phones weren't that capable back then. And they had limitations. Even the earlier Android phones, when did they get rid of the batteries and the remote batteries? Last I remember, the phones weren't that intensive back then. Not as intense as they were today, but still. With the capabilities of modern phones, and if they had that much battery, that would be insane. I mean, imagine having a phone with a 1 day plus battery life and being able to carry two spare batteries that are really small with them, rather than carrying on a huge power brick to charge the phone. I mean, you can use the camera throughout the whole day and not run out of battery, and you can just charge all the batteries later on when you're free. Imagine how convenient that is. And smartphone companies really should consider doing this because it's reaching its peak and they need to move in the next direction. Other than removing the smartphone altogether and replacing it with something else, I don't know what they're going to be able to do other than this.